Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. How are we doing? If you haven't seen already, check it out. The new BWTM tracksuit top. Can you see it? I can't see it all in the camera. If I bring the camera down for you to have a look. See it? BWTM Sports Gaming. And on the back of it, it's got the BWTM logo with the crown on and the newspaper at the back of it. Hope you all are well. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Please do hit the subscribe button. But more importantly, if you've been watching this channel and you've got an Android phone, check in the description box. You can download the BWTM Online app, so you don't have to be going to YouTube to watch us. You can watch it directly from your app all the time, which is what it's there for you to do. So check that out as well. Okay, we're going to get straight into this one. Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yarde this weekend on BT Sports. It's a fight that I'm really looking forward to, and a fight that I think a lot of people are underestimating how good a fight this could turn out to be. Okay, so I've done this video. I did a video on this in the preview to this fight. Let me put this up here as well. Let's get this up here as well. Yeah, bang, there we go. It's up here as well. Second, yeah, bang, there we go. So I want to talk about Arthur, or Yarde versus Arthur. There's been a lot of promotion of Anthony Yarde because of the Kovalev fight, because he stepped up and he went to Russia and he fought against Kovalev. In my opinion, fought the wrong strategy against Kovalev and ended up eating the jab for most of the fight, and decided to take the fight to Kovalev later on in the fight, where I think if he'd taken that approach earlier on in the fight, it might have been paid more dividend because he had more energy in the tank, and he probably would have had more power to stop Kovalev. But he could have got stopped himself. But I think you've got to take chances in the sport, and I think that would be an opportunity for him to take chances when I saw that fight back then. But Yarde, as far as I'm concerned, since the Kovalev fight, is being celebrated for going to Russia and taking Kovalev on. And I don't know if this is rightly or wrongly, but he's been promoted as if somehow or the other he won the fight against Kovalev when he actually lost the fight by Kovalev. And he seems to be crowned in this sort of, I don't know how to call it, but he seems to be in a certain bubble that he lost against Kovalev, and it's almost like that's a crowning moment for him. Since then, he's come back, he's fought Dax Spellman and he stopped Spellman, but very much the Kovalev fight is still in the name and is in people's mindset, because I guess people are saying, well, that's the only guy that people could say, yeah, we know how good Kovalev is. We don't know how good you are. The level of opposition you fought against hasn't been that great. Kovalev, we know, is a proven puncher. Kovalev, we know, is a proven fighter, former world champion or world champion. You know, he's got the great amateur pedigree. You gotta know where you're at with this fight, right? So when they took the fight, and I always thought they were going to fight Kovalev, I had no doubts they were going to fight Kovalev. I felt they had a chance of beating Kovalev, but like I said in my build-up to the fight, I said Yarde cannot win this fight a long distance against Kovalev. He cannot afford to allow Kovalev to get into any form of rhythm. Cannot allow Kovalev to get behind the jab and start boxing. because that's the sort of experience that he knows, range finding, getting distance, timing, and all the rest of it. You can't afford a man like Kovalev to get into a rhythm. You've got to make him uncomfortable from bell one. And unfortunately, Yarde sort of made him comfortable, very comfortable. And then we had that 8th round where we had that moment of Yarde breaking through, but not being able to finish Kovalev off. And in the end, Yarde collapsing out of sheer exhaustion because he emptied the tank in that 8th round. Which leads us to ask more questions. Can Yarde do 12 rounds at a hectic pace? Will Yarde, if he's behind on points again, will he go to those tactics again? That strategy of trying to empty the tank. And how good is Anthony Yarde? He looked good against Dex Spellman, but that's the level of opposition we know that Yarde has no problems. He could be undisputed champion at that level of boxing. It's that next level, the British, like the best light heavyweights in Britain. Is he one of the best light heavyweights in Britain? You'd think he is, based on the stuff that he does. And I'm a fan of Anthony Yarde. I like how Anthony Yarde goes about his business. He's entertaining. He's electric in the way he goes about his stuff. However, whether his technical ability is good enough to beat the best in the division, that still remains to be a question mark. Now, there is something about British boxing, or boxing fans, may I say, that are lazy. They want you to copy and paste everything. If they've never heard your name, then you're automatically a bum. Okay? Even if you've had some achievements, you're a bum. You're not considered as anything important until, unfortunately, the guy that they are backing gets brutally knocked out or beaten up so badly that they can only go, oh, this guy's pretty good. And then we get the old term of upset. This fight here with Lyndon Arthur was an accomplished amateur boxer, and as a pro, he's now a Commonwealth champion, unbeaten. There are things about Lyndon Arthur I've seen, check the boxes, that Anthony Yarde hasn't done in his career. First of all, Lyndon Arthur is a Commonwealth champion. Okay, so he's won the title, and the way he won the title answered many questions to me. He was in with a gentleman from Africa who was throwing bombs at him. Right, this guy was tough. He was rugged, and he gave Arthur all he could ask for. In that fight, we saw Arthur go to war. We saw Arthur get hurt. We saw Arthur come back. We saw Arthur win. I saw Arthur under pressure. I saw Arthur having to fight back and come back in a fight. So I saw he could bite down his gum shield. He could, when he got rough and tough, he knew what to do. Under pressure, he didn't crack. These are things that I think are so important coming into this fight against Anthony Yarde. So important, and something that boxing fans will rather than say, look, Arthur came for a really tough fight and won, they'll criticize him, say, oh, look, he got rocked in that fight. Oh, he got hurt in that fight. But they're not understanding the process that when a fighter goes through those challenging moments and comes through, those are question marks that are being answered about a fighter. But it seems today's boxing fan or new age boxing fan is all about highlight reels and guys falling over and knockouts. And when it comes to anybody receiving any form of test, they're getting exposed. But back in the day, you moved yourself from being a prospect, then to being a contender, and then becoming a champion. People will automatically just come out of the amateur ranks, turn pro, and then they're automatically champion. And it doesn't quite work that way. The whole build-up process is almost forgotten. and I think it's almost forgotten, you know. So I haven't got time tonight, mate. It's almost forgotten. So it's so important that we don't discount King Arthur. When I first saw King Arthur or Lyndon Arthur fight, I thought to myself, you know what? This boy's tasty. This boy can go places in the light heavyweight division, and I'm talking beyond British level. Just my first look at him. This guy, he's got an you know, him and Yarde are quite similar in their sort of confidence. Like, you know, not a lot phases them. You know, they're two guys who are, I wouldn't say cocksure, but I would say are confident in their own abilities. They're both confident guys, you know, and Lyndon Arthur's not, he's not phased or bothered or concerned about Anthony Yarde. He says it's a fight, and that's why he looks at it. He knows why people are backing Yarde because of the Kovalev fight. But Lyndon Arthur, mark my words, has got all, he's got all the ability to beat Anthony Yarde. He's got all the ability. You know, he's got the first thing, he's got a left jab to disrupt and upset Anthony Yarde's boxing, how Anthony Yarde boxes. You understand? He's got that left jab to disrupt the rhythm of Anthony Yarde. He punches hard enough. You know what I mean? He knows his way to maneuver himself around the ring. He knows how to box. Now, depending on how big the size of the ring is going to be important about this fight. But I certainly think that King Arthur, for me, technically, it's 55-45 in Arthur's favour, boxing ability-wise. Yarde has punching power, yeah? But I don't know how good Yarde's punching power really is. You know, you saw super middleweight in Andre Ward was able to stop Sergey Kovalev. You saw Canelo able to stop Kovalev. You saw Alvarez be able to stop Kovalev. You saw Yarde hit Kovalev his best shots. And yes, he did totter a bit, but he never went down. He was able to come out the next round and go on to stop Anthony Yarde. So how good a puncher Yarde is, I don't know. When I look at Anthony Yarde and he puts his punches together, he does. If you look at Kell Brook and you look at Anthony Yarde, they both throw punches the same way. You know, they let a right hand go, then they then a left hook, then another one, and they take that and take that and take that. You won't see them burst a 4-5 punch burst the combination. It's almost like take this and then you take this and then you take that. And I think these guys, if they could put their punches together, 2-3 punches together quicker, I think they'd get more knockouts because of that. That being said, again, the gas tank. I know Lyndon Arthur can do 12 rounds. I don't know if Anthony Yarde can do 12 rounds. The last time I saw Anthony Yarde go any distance, he was looking up at the lights, exhausted. So has Anthony Yarde got a good 12 rounds in him? Can he do a good, hard 12 rounds at a good pace? Can he come back from a situation where he's down on the cards? You know, can he come back from when he's down on the cards? Does he actually, when he's getting hit regularly and being outboxed and counterpunched, is Yarde got the boxing IQ to make adjustments on the fly? Because, you know, you have these guys that fight in spurts and fight in levels. And I've always thought Anthony Yarde has got gears. He has got gears. I've seen it in fights where he's playing with opposition, and then all of a sudden you'll see him go out there and stop a guy, right? But that's lower level. When he moves up in gears, is his highest gear good enough to beat the best light heavyweights in the world? You know, I've already told you what I think of Lyndon Arthur. I think he's a quality operator. I think he's beyond Commonwealth title level. My personally, you know what I mean? Lyndon Arthur, I'm talking about this guy because I'm not talking personality. Some people, when they talk boxing, they talk personalities. I ain't talking personalities. I like Anthony Yarde. I've met the young man. I like Tunde Jai. You know what I mean, they're real people, but that doesn't mean because I like them that I suddenly my mindset has got to be biased. Let me tell you something. If Anthony Yarde beats Lyndon Arthur, it's a very, very good win. And I'll tell you something. Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur together are fighting better opposition than Bwtm. Right? So you think Yarde's gone and fought already? Kovalev, now he's going to fight Lyndon Arthur. You know, and then you look at the sort of opposition Bwtm's fighting, nowhere remotely like the sort of opposition that Yarde's faced, or the fact they're two British fighters that are good British fighters that come together and fighting. I mean, good quality British fighters that come together and fighting, and that's the difference. I really like Arthur in this fight. I'm sorry, I really like Arthur in this fight, and in this fight, it's about Yarde, show me something. Show me that you can go 12 rounds. Show me that you've got punching power to blast at a guy that has no business being in the ring with you. Show me that you've got stamina and that your muscles after 8 rounds don't just suddenly start sucking energy from you. Show me that you can do a good hard 12 rounds. Show me that you can come back in a fight when things are not going your way. Show me that even if you're hurt in a fight, you can turn it around. Those are the things you've got to show me, Anthony Yarde, and you haven't. The only thing you showed me when you stepped up is that you've lost. And that's not being harsh. That is what it is. We can sugarcoat it all we want. He went to Russia, he was brave, he went and fought Kovalev, he rocked Kovalev in the 8th round. But what happened? Why is he not WBO champion? And those questions are, it's like an exam. You failed the exam before. Well, what have you done to make the adjustments so that if you're in that situation again, what are you going to do differently? We don't know, because Dex Spellman did not bring that sort of, no due respect to Dex Spellman, he did not bring that sort of question to Anthony Yarde. But in this fight, he's going to have to answer question number 1. Can you get out of the way of a left jab from a good left jabber, from a guy who's technically sound? Can you get out of the way of a left jab? Can you move your head out of the way of a left jab? Can you come from behind and win a fight? If the jab starts busting you up in your face and your eye starts getting swollen, what are you going to do? How are you going to respond? These are all questions that Anthony Yarde and his team need to answer. You know, when it gets tough, does Anthony Yarde get going? So I talk about lines in the camp, and that's great. But at some point, it's got to make sense. At some point, it's got to click. And if it does click, we have a superstar in our hands in Anthony Yarde. If it does click. And I hope in this fight, I hope he proves to be completely wrong. I hope he goes out there and he smashes Arthur to bits. I'll go, you know what? This guy's great. This guy's going to be great. Because I've got such respect for Lyndon Arthur. I really have. You know what Lyndon Arthur reminds me of? He reminds me of them old school back in the day when you used to watch on BBC. Those guys would fight. They'd fight their way from. You didn't know anything about them. Then they'll fight for British Cup Championship. Then they'll fight for the Commonwealth and the European. Lyndon Arthur's kind of like that. That Henry Wharton. Who else? Billy Schwer. You know, the guy who would go for the British Commonwealth and European. He'd take on all comers and then go and fight for the world title. That's the kind of guy. That's the kind of energy I get from Lyndon Arthur. Old school. And of course, Pat Barrett was from old school, wasn't he? Pat Barrett, Black Flash. I used to watch Pat Barrett when I was younger, and I was a fan of Pat Barrett as well. And Pat has worked with Lyndon Arthur, and you know, Pat wasn't a bad fighter himself, you know. So let's not forget that. You know, I really think this is a real difficult fight for Anthony Yarde. Make no mistake about it. This is not a knockover job. If he knocks Arthur over, it's a good job, but it's not a knockover job. And I wouldn't be surprised if Yarde lost this fight, because you're looking at a guy who as far as I'm concerned, is more. Let me go this. Let me go one step further. He's more technically sound than Joshua Bwtm. This guy, Lyndon Arthur, is technically more sound than Bwtm. You watch how in all Bwtm fights he's getting hit with right hands and making no adjustment whatsoever. And then you watch Lyndon Arthur. He's a guy that can make adjustments slick. You know what I mean? Yes, he gets hit with punches. They all get hit with punches in boxing. But this guy, Lyndon Arthur, is better technically than Joshua Bwtm. And if you're a Joshua Bwtm fan, I suggest you go back and look at Lyndon Arthur. Just because he's not been hyped up, it doesn't mean he's not a good fighter. Who knows if Lyndon Arthur fought Kovalev that night, how Lyndon Arthur would have boxed Kovalev? I don't know. But in terms of adjustments of style between the two, I don't feel that Anthony Yarde's style is flexible. I think that's just way he goes about his business. It's the way he'll go about his business regardless of who he fights. But I think Lyndon Arthur's a guy who, he can get off the jab and box. He can come forward, he can go back and give you lateral movement. He's a guy that can stay behind the jab for 12 rounds and just jab your head off. I don't see Yarde be one of them guys who will just stand behind the jab, and the dimensions are different as well. Do you understand? So, two different styles. But when you're looking at boxing IQ, and this is not being disrespectful to Anthony Yarde, I just don't see the flexibility in his style to Lyndon Arthur's style, right? And that, again, it's not a disrespect to Anthony Yarde's team. It's just that the level of opposition here is much better. And I'm sure Tunde Ajayi knows this as well, that Lyndon Arthur's no mug. You know what I mean? This is a good fight. This is a good fight. I just hope that they've learnt their lessons from the Kovalev fight. Because Kovalev was a good teacher on jab, 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 eat jab, eat jab, eat jab. No, don't eat jab. Smooth your head. Block some punches. Slip and get inside. You know what I mean? And the only way you actually get to improve that is by having quality sparring and quality sparring partners that's going to constantly test you over and over again. I don't know if I buy the story of Tunde Ajayi telling people that they don't do sparring. I don't believe that personally. I don't personally believe that story. I think he's just put out there just for newspaper sales. I think he does spar. I think Yarde does spar. I don't know that. I haven't seen him spar, but I do believe he does spar. So those are my thoughts on that. So let's see the people in the room. And oh, right. There we go. While I'm at it, let me just post this for you here. Everybody, if you haven't already, please do go across to the BWTM online app. Click it. It's on Android. Click it and download the app and give us a review. And for those people who've got iPhones, within the next 24 to 48 hours, we will be on iPhone 2 as well. This is a big year for BWTM Online. Big moves being made before the close of the year. Okay, so good evening, Mr. Max MP. Good evening, Ruben. Yes, Lawrence Williams. Good to see you in the room. Yarde fights like AB. If AB will let his hands go, yep. Arthur has a big hand. He has. Yes, Coach Chris. What's up, my guy? Yeah, what is up? What's going on? Listen, in terms of I've got some interesting news to share with you about Alexander Usyk. And apparently, it's about the gloves. I think I'm going to share it with you later on. I'd like you to come on the show. Some interesting news about the gloves regarding Alexander Usyk. Very interesting news coming out. And I will reveal that to you a little later. But yeah, Captain BS. I like Arthur, but he can't sit on the ropes and like that against Spellman. Yeah, but Spellman's one style. Like I said, Arthur will change his style up. He knows he can't do that against Yarde, so he won't do that. And he obviously felt comfortable against Spellman. Good evening, Cameron. Hope you're well. Good afternoon, Denise. Hope that you're well as well, my dear. Bwtm's not as good as I thought. I didn't think he was that good. Simple as that. Simple as that. Michael Fox, really looking forward to this fight and hope Anthony prevails. I get you. I hear you. We don't get weak. Yeah, well. Laugh made off, gassed. Yes. Just a little, very quickly before I go off. Listen, those people who've got nothing good to contribute or nothing positive to say, not interested in you, go and troll someone else's channel. Really, I don't care what you think and you say. Go and troll someone else's channel. You're just going to get blocked. You're not even going to get a hello. So that's it. Find someone else's channel to waste time with. Let's keep moving. Let's keep it moving. You want a great heavyweight. Look at Matthew Saad Mohammed from Philadelphia. Yeah. Bad man there. Talking a bad one there, Lionel Witherspoon. A bad man, yes. Saad Mohammed. Look, but they don't make guys like that no more, man. They don't make guys like that. You know why they don't make guys like that? Because they don't have trainers to make guys like that no more. You understand? You got these renter trainers, you know what I mean? And fitness first trainers. They don't have the tutelage. So they can't teach guys to fight like Matthew Saad Mohammed. You're talking about a legendary fighter there. Absolute legendary. And thank you, Lionel Witherspoon, for bringing his name up. Absolute legendary fighter there, Matthew Saad Mohammed. If I had a hat, I'd take it off. I've got this, but I won't take that off. But take my hat. I take my invisible hat. I take my hat off to him. I tell you what. I'll take my speakers off. Yeah, took my speakers off in salute to Matthew Saad Mohammed. So yeah, let's see what else. I don't know where's my mouse gone. Yeah, let's see what people are talking. Let's see what they say now. True. Bwtm needs to sort his career out. He's too inactive. Bwtm needs to change his trainer. I said it already. I told you about the Dubois situation. I tell you all the fighters I think need to change their trainers immediately. Dubois, Joseph Parker, Alexander Usyk. Well, those are three guys definitely change their trainer now. Definitely change their trainer. Because they're not moving forward. True. Bwtm needs to sort his career out, and he's too inactive. Eddie not doing anything for him. Well, does he do it for anybody but Joshua? And if Joe Joyce and his team are silly enough to join Matchroom, then good luck to them. Because there's nothing to suggest by going to Matchroom it's the answer. I'd like to see him join. I'd like to see him either go to ESPN, which is with Bob Arum, or to go with Al Heyman. I'm looking at for the most maximum exposure for Joyce. That'd be something. When is this fight? This Saturday night. For those of you who may be on this cast at the moment or on this broadcast at the moment, have you downloaded the app? If you've downloaded the app, let me know how you're doing with the app at the moment. I'd love to know what you think of the BWTM app online. Let me know what you think of it. Let me show you on my phone, if I can bring up on my phone very quickly. You can see that. That's what you get when you get on the app. Just loading up now. My phone is a bit slow, but there you go. There's the app. You see it? There's the app. That's the introduction there. To the app, you click on, and then you go to the side of the app, and you'll get to see all the sports, the gaming, the news, the latest news, everything that's going on in the BWTM universe. It's a universe within itself. So yeah. And before the end of the year, I'll have a huge announcement before the end of the year. And this is going to be a real, I think this will be a game changer. So we'll see. What do you think of Joyce extending contract? Well, Frank's got him this far, hasn't he? Frank's got him this far. Well, Frank's got him this far, but Frank's got him the Dubois fight. So, I mean, why not? Yard scores Arthur Fowler Saturday night. Really? Really? How much do you know about Arthur, my friend? Sam Jones was like, always knew that Dubois was Frank's favourite before signing, and don't hold it against him. Yeah, but people give Sam Jones a hard time, yeah, and I can understand why people might find Sam a bit marmitish, in your face. But what Sam Jones is, if you're honest, Sam Jones is what is needed in boxing, because Sam Jones speaks the truth. He doesn't sugarcoat things, and unfortunately, Sam's not PR trained, so he's going to come out and tell you straight. And he told you about the Dubois situation. He said, you never had a fight in your life. You never had a real fight in your life. I know Sam Jones, obviously if Dubois and Sam Jones had a punch up, what would happen, right? But Sam Jones speaks the truth, and a lot of people don't like to hear the truth. And they don't like to hear the truth from a guy that's doing things. Sam Jones is not too dissimilar in some ways to Adam Booth. The way Adam Booth and David Haye go about their business, Sam Jones and Joe Joyce are kind of similar like that. Them guys are kind of inseparable. I've got a lot of respect for those two. Just like Tunde Jai and Anthony Yarde, you've got Pacquiao and Roach. I know that Sam Jones isn't his trainer, he's his manager, but they have a good relationship. And Sam Jones backs his boy. You understand? He knows what his boy can do, and he knows what his boy can't do. You understand? And Sam Jones is just an honest guy. And I think more people need to get behind Sam Jones and listen to him. Because listen, if you ask me to trust Sam Jones versus the world's promoters, I'll back Sam Jones. And I'll go with Sam Jones. If I had to walk into a room, my eyes closed, right, and had to find my way out of a dark room with Sam Jones and all the promoters you've got around the world, I'll go with Sam Jones. Do you understand why? Because Sam Jones speaks the truth. People don't like to hear the truth. We've got in a society now of people that like propaganda and lamestream media and rubbish and garbage and stuff that's not true. And a guy like Sam Jones just tells you straight down the camera, your boy ain't fought anyone before. Wasn't Sam Jones right? Sam Jones was right. Let's see what Louis. Denise says, congratulations on the app. Thank you very much for the congratulations. So we're going to be on Apple within the next 24 to 48 hours. We're just waiting to hear from Apple. But there's a massive announcement we'll be making. Real massive announcement and game changer by the end of the year. Yarde, my man, from the ends. Win, lose or draw. It's BWTM. Keep boxing knowledge. I know, bro. I love Yarde's a man from the ends as well. Literally, I'm in the ends at the moment. The Yarde is from. But the end of the day, it's not about postcode. It's about boxing ability. And Arthur is the more accomplished boxer. You understand? So far. Very distasteful to see how all Sky ex-pros piling on Dubois. Listen to me. And listen well. This karma, boxing gods are unforgiving. You see all these guys talking that stuff at the moment? Wait until it happens on their show. Wait until it happens on their show. When their fighters drops and takes a knee on their show. Let's see what happens. Okay? So it's okay. But it just shows you what you're dealing with and the people you're dealing with. Do you mean? Because they were good fighters, it doesn't mean they've got good characters. You're getting to see what these people are about. Sam Jones, manager Joyce. Okay, but David Haye, good manager. I don't know about that one, mate. I think you're a bit I think you're swayed by personalities rather than truth. Frank said Dubois had a hemorrhage in retina at 22 for a European title. That's not enough to risk losing your eye forever. Yeah, these guys, I don't pay them no mind. They're getting paid to talk nonsense, to spin the Sky narrative, to make Matchroom look great. That's what it is. And once you understand it, you understand what it's about. You know what I mean? That's a young man that took a knee because his trainers should have pulled him out of that fight. That's what should happen. But no, they're not going to put that blame on the trainer. They'll put the blame on the fighter. But yet that fighter should in no way should have been in that fight after his eye closed the way it did. That's coming from a world-class proven trainer. in Uncle James Ali Bashir. When AJ didn't want no more against Ruiz, or when Belly turned back on Stevenson, well, it's okay. All this is forgotten by them. Yeah, but it shows you the hypocritical stuff. Well, AJ's fighting again against Pulev on December 12th. Let's hope AJ doesn't take a knee. Let's hope AJ doesn't turn away. Let's just hope those things don't happen, because karma happens in boxing. I remember saying about the boxing gods, and I was talking about Bernard Hopkins, and he made that statement, I'll never let a white boy beat me. Listen, there was Kawasaki, and look who knocked him out of boxing. Look who literally knocked him out of boxing. Look who literally knocked Bernard Hopkins out of boxing. Never see him fight again. Huh? Joe Smith. So I don't get into all that stuff. You know what I mean? Listen, all I want to hear from these experts is who's going to win the fight. Who do you think is going to win the fight? That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear your opinions on other fighters, like what's happened with Dubois. If you can't have something positive to say to that young man, just keep your mouth shut. Say nothing. Say absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? It's not right. It's not fair. And if Johnny Nelson says anything, right, you just have to look at Johnny Nelson's career as, when he started his career. You know what I mean? And when he fought Carlos de Leon? You know what I mean? He couldn't hear a pin drop when he fought for a world title. Sorry about that. Thank you. Just installed BT Halo Hub, and it's just nothing but giving problems at the moment. But anyway, moving on. Sam Jones on Real most time. No, Jones talks Real all the time. People don't like him for that. Comparing to other broken orbitals, and Dubois had nerve damage. That's a different story. I know. It's not good. But remember when I kept talking about Gary Mason? Kept talking about Gary Mason. And you're kind of wondering, why am I talking about Gary Mason? Look what ended up happening. Go and look at the Lennox Lewis fight against Gary Mason, and go and look at the Dubois fight with Joe Joyce. Tell me if you see the comparisons. And watch the end of the fight. It was by a right hand, and Mason screwed his face up in pain. And referee had to stop the fight because of the eye. And Mason had problems with the eye coming into that fight. So it's not good. Right, I think I've said my bit on this fight with Dubois, with Joyce, going off Morocco, with Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur. I'm going 55-45 in favour of Lyndon Arthur. If Yarde wins, it'll be by points. No, it'll be by knockout. If Arthur wins, he can win by points or knockout. That's how I'd hedge it. That's how I'm going with this. But if you're asking me who I think is going to win, I'm going to go with Lyndon Arthur. Yarde has to show me something, and this is the fight. He'll definitely have to show me something. Boas came out saying he was going to pull Daniel out that round, but Dubois was saying he could still see and he had puncher's chance. Really? He had a puncher's chance. What puncher's chance did Dubois have? He had a puncher's chance. So early in the fight, Joyce was moving his head off the line. And by the way, this narrative that people keep throwing out there, that Joyce is too easy to hit. If he's too easy to hit, who ended up getting their eyes swollen in the fight? If Joyce is so easy to hit, how comes it's Joyce not coming out the fight with the swollen eye? So all these people said Joyce is too slow and he's too easy to hit, and he moves like molasses. Well, if he moves like molasses and he was able to do that to Dubois' eye, and Dubois was the faster heavyweight coming in there, can somebody explain to me how the man who's walking through treacle is able to mash up Dubois' eye? Huh? That's what I want to know. Said 3 rounds left in fight, 1 round left in Daniel's eye. It's not good. Not good. Just not good at all. It's a sad state of affairs. Listen, I've got some news later on to share with you all. I'm hoping my man Eugene will be back in the house. And if I can bring Eugene in the house and Coach Chris in the house, I think we've got some really interesting news to break with for you. Right, let me get out of here. I'll be talking to you all later. Thank you for watching BWTM Sports. As always, we're out.